Peter Gammons joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show once again. Is he in Double-A yet, Peter?
I don't think so. And by the way, John Elway was a legitimate prospect.
He wasn't he?
I saw him play. Saw him playing in the New York Penn League, and I think he had 237 for Oneonta, and he was really a good player. A great arm. But obviously, he made the right decision.
Yeah, but
at the same time, he was legitimate.
But he was using the Yankees as leverage against the Baltimore Colts at the time, correct? When he was doing that,
he was still at Stanford.
Okay, so he never used the Yankees as a threat.
Well, he would have. He would have. I mean, in time he would have. But the next year there was no question he was going to play football, so that was that.
So
but, Elway was a legitimate guy. I mean, they're still getting around it. I mean, and, there have been a few others. I mean, that have been as well. But I mean, Dion was a good baseball player. Bo Jackson was a really good baseball player. So there have been guys that were legitimate football, baseball guys. It's just, I mean, there's a kid, a wide receiver in Charlotte, North Carolina, who is regarded as a 5-star in football and a potential first-round pick in baseball. So I asked, well, why couldn't he go to college and play both sports? And so, well, the baseball coach is worried he's going to miss his bats in fall baseball. Well, please. I mean, I don't want to hear this. And, football coaches, well, spring practice is really important. No, they're not. Games are important. Let these guys play. It's ridiculous. I think too many of these athletes today are so they're so focused on one sport or one sport only that it really hurts them as athletes and potential players.
So you don't think there's a chance for a September call-up for Tebow? I'm being serious when I ask that because everybody believes with the state of the Mets right now that at least putting fannies in the seats would be something that Tebow could aid in September. You don't think that's a chance, Peter?
Where's he going to play? I mean, I just don't see it. I really don't. I don't think the Mets would make it a farce. They've had a terrible season, but that would be a farce. They have better players. They have real players in the minor leagues. And to take Tim Tebow, I mean, it's great in the minor leagues that he sells seats. But it also says a lot about how bad. That's also saying that the Mets fan base and broadcast partners aren't good enough to get people to watch.
Peter Gammons of MLB Network joining me here. All right, let's talk about the Cubs. Why did Theo Epstein essentially banish Miguel Montero? What's behind this?
Well, first of all, I mean, there was the outburst at the end of the World Series. Joe Madden could take that. But calling out Jake Arrieta is not having a good year. I understand that. He's a free agent, all the rest. He is slow to the plate. But to say that it's Jake Arrieta's fault for ruining his record of not throwing out a base runner in an entire season, that's the sort of thing teammates do. I don't know if you heard Anthony Rizzo.
He was pissed.
On ESPN radio in Chicago the next morning, and he said, it's just a bad teammate, and you don't do that. That's not what we do. And I think everybody felt that way.
Could this be a move then for a general manager to jumpstart a team? I mean, is that part of this as well? Because at this point, they're 500. This is now 78 games into the season at 500.
Well, I think it's more of this is what the Cubs culture is. This is the long-term view of what this franchise is, and the team that Theo built. There will be times when they go through these slumps. Frankly, I think that with having Arrieta having a bad year, and Hendricks not pitching as well as he did last year, and now being hurt, and a lot of their young players suffering from expectations they never had before, has caused them to be an average team. Do I think they're still going to win, finish first? Yes. However, I do think Milwaukee is much better than people realize. And it won't be easy, but at the same time, they can't let somebody override the culture, and Montero crossed the line, and what didn't surprise me at all that he was immediately released. I thought that the temptation that the Cubs front office had was to have him go to the White House with a few Cubs players that wanted to go, and then have Trump show him a modicum of humor by saying you're fired. But they decided against it. I know it was something they were all joking about yesterday. Needless to say, nobody in the front office went.
Peter Gammons of the MLB Network. That's why he's our Honda Insider in the Honda Insider Report here on the Rich Eisen Show. We are a month away, essentially, from the trade deadline, and obviously as we get closer and we see who's relevant in the wild card race and who isn't, that will be a lot of the market-setting conversation. But is it possible that Justin Verlander is the jewel that could be out there on the midseason market, Peter?
I just don't know if the Tigers will be willing to pay $11 or $12 million to trade him. He could be had, but I don't think any team is going to make that cost. I think the only players, I think Justin Wilson and J.D. Martinez are the only players the Tigers can trade and get anything for. They're not going to get talent back for Verlander, not at the money he makes. So
$28 million this year.
Yeah, I mean they'd probably have to pay half of it, and to pay $14 million for a B prospect, I don't think is going to happen in Detroit. Plus, they've got to figure out a way to keep that team here. They have a chance because they don't have any position players in their farm system. They have a chance to be really bad for a long time. And I think they have to keep the fans' attention as much as they can the rest of the season. I look at it, I don't think, as much as this is the highest trade value we'll ever have, I don't think Garrett Cole would get traded. He would be the number one guy on the market. I don't think the Pirates traded him. I think the Pirates think they can contend next year. And they want Cole still 2 years away from free agency. So I think that really the top guys are Sonny Gray in Oakland, Jose Quintana in Chicago, and maybe Cobb in Tampa, except that Tampa's a game out of the wild card. And, and they're trying to get enough fan enthusiasm to find a place and the financing to build a ballpark. If they show off Alex Cobb, even though he's going to be a free agent, and they end up finishing 7 games out of the wild card, I mean, how do they tell their fans, well, we want the ballpark, but we're not in it to win? And I think that's why I don't think Tampa will trade any pitchers either.
Peter Gammons.
So I think they're very small market, except for the usual 11 relievers and some utility players, which the Dodgers, of course, are masters of compiling.
Peter Gammons joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So when it's all said and done tonight, Cozart is going to beat out Seager at the shortstop position. Then he gets the donkey, and then Los Angeles fans they're not very happy about this whole voting. Peter, what do you and everybody else make of this with the All-Star voting?
I mean, I'm a huge Seager fan, but every year there are a few votes that you got to go, oh, wow, Seager's going to be on the team. The players will vote him on, or he'll get put on one way or another. He's going to be at the All-Star game. And I do think for Jake Cozart, Cozart to learn to hit the way he has, to have the year he's having, good luck. I'm happy he's in the All-Star game. I always think of this as, such a glorified exhibition. But sometimes you're really happy that somebody gets rewarded with being an All-Star. And I think Cozart is one of those guys. I mean, I think that the Reds they've scored a lot of runs, and they've had a few good things in the bullpen, but they're not a very good team. And at least it gives the Reds fans something. But I get it. I mean, I get why Dodger fans are upset, but they're still going to have they got to have a lot of representatives there. So
yeah, I know, and they're also got 52 wins on the season so far. And if it wasn't for them, the story of the first half might be the Arizona Diamondbacks. Peter, I love chatting with you as always. Let's chat again soon, okay?
Absolutely. I want to talk about baseball, football. I'll be better prepared.
No, it's okay. Peter, by the next time we chat in July, Tebow will be AAA by then, so it's okay. I'm sure that story's not going anywhere.
Maybe you get traded deadline.
Maybe so. Take care, Peter. That's Peter Gammons of the MLB Network joining us here in the Honda Insider Report.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, please download our app. There's lots of fun things there other than just more of the videos you just saw. You can call us from the app. You can email us from the app. Just download it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.